My name is Harold Bennett. I'm 71 years old. And if you told me 3 years ago that I'd one day be locked out of my own bedroom by my daughter's husband, I would have laughed in your face. It all started with a phone call. Hey, Dad, do you have a minute? Amanda's voice was soft. Too soft. The way she talked when she wanted something. I was sitting on the back porch, drinking coffee, watching the wind play with the flag I hung every summer. Yeah, what's going on? She sighed. It's been rough, Dad. Zach just got laid off again. My hours got cut. The rent's insane, and, well, I'm pregnant. I said nothing for a second. That word, pregnant, it did something to me. I imagined a little crib in the hallway again. A baby crying at night. I imagined my wife, Mary, smiling. She always wanted more grandkids. Amanda kept talking. We just need a place to land for a little while. A couple months tops. Just until we get back on our feet. We'll help around the house. Pay for groceries, whatever you need. We just can't afford where we are. I looked around my house. 3 bedrooms. Quiet. Still smelled like Mary's cookies some days, even though she'd been gone for 2 years now. The silence was getting louder every day. I told her yes. They moved in the following weekend. Amanda was 5 months pregnant. Zach came in carrying boxes like he was doing me a favor. Never said thanks. Never asked where to put things. Just started claiming space. I try not to overthink it. It's just for a couple months, I reminded myself. They'll get their act together, find a place, move out. I kept my routine. Woke up early, made breakfast, took care of the lawn, gave him space. But space is funny. When you give too much of it, people forget it was yours to give. By week 3, Zach had taken over the garage. Said he needed it for his projects. One morning, I went out to get my tools and found them shoved into a corner, dusty, half broken. His gym equipment was in the center. My garage looked like a damn CrossFit center. I brought it up over dinner. Amanda said, "It's just temporary, Dad. He's trying to stay in shape while he looks for work." I let it slide. By month 2, I noticed they still weren't paying for anything. Not groceries, not water, not electricity. Zach played Xbox till 3 a.m. Amanda ordered takeout almost daily. My bills tripled. I mentioned it casually. Amanda said, "We'll get you back soon, promise." But they didn't. Then the baby came. Little Joshua. I held him the day he was born. Perfect, warm, sleepy. I remember thinking, maybe it's worth it, even if they never leave. At least I get to see this kid grow up. That thought didn't last long. Zach didn't get a job. Didn't look for one. Every day was the same. Wake up at 10, eat, play games, nap, argue with Amanda, then disappear for hours without explanation. Amanda went back to work part-time. I offered to babysit. She was grateful at first. Then it just became expected. No thank you. No asking. Just handed me the baby and left. Month 5. I came home for grocery shopping and saw they had friends over. Beer bottles on my kitchen table. Cigarette butts in the sink. Zach saw me and laughed. "Hey, Harold, grab a beer, man." I said nothing. Just went to my room and closed the door. Later that night, I found Zach in my office. My private space. Sitting at my desk, on my computer. "What the hell are you doing?" "Relax, old man," he said. "Just checking some job listings." I kicked him out. First time I raised my voice in years. He smirked. "You need to chill. We're family." That word, family, was starting to feel like a threat. Amanda came in after and tried to smooth things over. "He didn't mean anything, Dad. He's just stressed." So was I. But nobody asked about that. Month 7. My electric bill hit $480. I told him we needed to talk. Zach looked me straight in the eye and said, "Maybe you should downsize, Harold. This house is too big for you anyway." Amanda didn't say a word, just looked at the floor. That night, I checked the deed. Still in my name. I took a photo of it, emailed it to myself, just in case. By month 8, I stopped cooking. I stopped trying to talk. I became a ghost in my own house. Amanda used to come sit with me, watch old westerns. Now she just walked past me like I was a coat rack. Month 9, I caught Zach going through my mail. "What are you doing?" "Just checking for anything important. My mail is none of your business." He laughed. "It is when it's about our house." I stared at him. Our house. That's when I knew. They weren't leaving. It was never temporary. I slept in that house that night, knowing things were about to change. Not because I wanted to, but because they left me no other option. They thought I was old, tired, soft. They forgot whose name was on the damn deed. And soon, they were going to learn exactly how dangerous an old man can be when you back him into a corner. It was a Tuesday morning when I realized they'd stopped knocking before entering my room. I was still in my pajamas, pouring coffee, when Zach barged in holding a box. Dropped it on the floor like I was some tenant he needed to evict. "We're rearranging the hallway," he said, looking around like he was appraising furniture at a garage sale. "Amanda wants to turn your room into a quiet space for the baby. You'll take the guest room from now on." I blinked. "Excuse me?" He shrugged. "That back room's got more shade. You'll sleep better. Makes more sense." That was the first time I said it out loud. "This is my house, Zach. Not a hotel. Not your playground. And definitely not up for rearrangement." He just smirked. "Yeah? Because from where I'm standing, you don't do much owning. You live in the back, you stay out of the way, and you don't contribute. So maybe it's time we fix that." I didn't answer. Not yet. I picked up the box and walked past him. Calm. But inside, a storm. The next day, the guest room was already cleared. My dresser was moved. My photos stacked in a box on the floor. My clothes were dumped on the spare bed like trash. I walked into my own room, or what used to be, and found Zach installing shelf for the baby's toys. He didn't look up. "You've got until Friday to move your stuff." I stood there in silence, then walked out and called Amanda. She was at work. "Dad, I can't talk right now. You'd better make time. Your husband just evicted me from my bedroom." She sighed. "He told me. It's not like that. We just need more space. It's a better setup this way. So I get a closet with a window, and he gets my room." She didn't respond. "Amanda." Still nothing. So I hung up. That Friday, I found a sticky note on the fridge. "We need to talk rent. $350 per month plus split utilities. Be fair. No signature. Just black marker in Zach's blocky handwriting." I took the note, folded it once, and stuck it in my wallet. That evening, when they got back, I was already sitting in the living room, waiting. Amanda came in first, holding Joshua. Zach followed, his usual smug grin in place. "You got her note?" He asked like he was my landlord. I nodded. "Sure did." So, he dropped onto my recliner and spread his arms like a king returning to his throne. "What's the plan, Harold? You contributing or what?" I leaned forward. "Here's the plan. I'll think about it." He frowned. "Think about it." I stood. "You'll have my answer soon enough." Then I walked to the front door and left. I drove to the bank. Sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes before I went in. "Hi, I need access to my safety deposit box." The young teller looked up, scanned my ID, and gave me a warm smile. "Of course, Mr. Bennett. Follow me." Inside that little box was everything important. The house deed, life insurance papers, Mary's will, even old photographs I couldn't bear to leave in the open anymore. I took the deed, made copies, took photos on my phone. I wanted layers of proof. After that, I drove to my old friend Leonard, real estate lawyer, retired mostly, still sharp as a blade. He opened the door and raised an eyebrow. "Harold, haven't seen you in years. What's the trouble?" I told him everything. Leonard didn't interrupt once, just listened, his fingers steepled under his chin. When I was done, he asked one question. "Do they pay rent?" "Never have. Not once." "And your name's the only one on the title?" "Yes." He leaned back and smiled. "Then you're about to give them a hell of a surprise." The house went on the market 6 days later. I signed the listing paperwork quietly, told the agent to keep it low profile until it was time. Priced it below market. I didn't want top dollar. I wanted speed. That same week, while Zach was out, I walked through the house one more time. Took pictures. Every room, every corner. Proof. Amanda asked me that night why I was so quiet. "You okay, Dad?" I smiled. Never better. 2 weeks later, we had an offer. All cash buyers. Young couple. No kids. Wanted to close in 30 days. I accepted immediately. On closing day, I packed one small suitcase and 2 boxes. Clothes, photos, Mary's cookbook, the flag from the porch. Then I left the rest behind. Not a goodbye, just a clean break. When Zach and Amanda returned that afternoon, there was a sold sign on the lawn and an eviction notice on the door. The look on Zach's face? Worth every damn penny I didn't make by underpricing that house. The call came at 4:12 p.m. I was already 2 cities away, sitting in the corner booth of a diner, sipping black coffee and waiting for it. I watched the name light up on my screen, Amanda. I picked up, Dad. She hissed, panic wrapped around every syllable. What the hell did you do? I stir my coffee. Sold the house. There was silence on the line. Just breathing. Heavy. Shaky. Then she screamed, You can't do that. We live here. Zach's at the door arguing with some woman, and her husband saying they bought the place. What the hell is going on? I stayed calm. They did buy it. I signed over the keys this morning. You didn't even tell us, she yelled. You blindsided us. I have a child. I am pregnant. How could you? Now, she remembered she had children. I exhaled slowly. I gave you a roof. For almost 3 years. You gave me nothing but bills and silence. Zach tried to charge me rent in my own home, Amanda. That's not. He didn't mean it like that. I have it in writing. She fell silent again. I let it hang. You have 30 days to vacate, I said flatly. The buyers were generous. Could have pushed for less. She was crying now. Real tears or guilt, I couldn't tell. Where are we supposed to go? That's not my responsibility anymore. And I hung up. Zach was next. 2 hours later, I let go to voicemail. When I finally listened, it was 5 minutes of unhinged threats, legal jargon he clearly didn't understand, and some nonsense about suing me for emotional distress. I forwarded the audio to my lawyer with a single line. Let me know if I need to respond. He wrote back 5 minutes later. No, they got nothing. Enjoy your freedom. That night, I stayed at a modest motel. Clean sheets, thin walls, quiet. First night in 3 years, I slept without earplugs. The next morning, I walked to the bank and opened a new account. $198,700, the net proceeds from the house sale. Plenty enough for a new start. Then I called my son, Michael. We hadn't talked in a while. Life distance work. He lived a state away. Stable job. 2 kids. Good heart. Dad, he answered surprised. Hey, Mike. Sold the house. A pause. You what? Long story. But I need a few nights to crash while I figure out where I'm headed next. Of course, he said without hesitation. I'll come get you. He didn't even ask why. Just drove 6 hours that same day, picked me up, and brought me home. His home. A place with respect. 2 weeks passed. Amanda tried again. This time through email. Dad, I'm sorry. I panicked. Things are hard right now. Can we please talk? Just us. No jilling. I miss you. For a second, I felt that old tug, the father's instinct to fix, to forgive, to smooth things over. But then I remembered the padlock on my door, the rent note, the way Zach looked at me like I was already 6 feet under. So I replied, when you're ready to talk without Zach in the room, I'll listen. Until then, I have nothing more to say. She didn't respond. Meanwhile, the buyers officially took possession. Zach tried to delay, said he had rights, called the police. The officers showed up, checked the title, saw the deed transfer, saw the lack of any rental agreement, and told him flat out, you don't live here anymore. Amanda wept in the driveway. Zach cussed out the couple. Joshua clung to Amanda's leg, asking where Grandpa went. And that last part was the only thing that hurt, because that kid didn't ask for any of this. He just loved his grandpa. They left in a U-Haul 2 days later. No idea where to. No forwarding address. No would-be. Michael told me I did the right thing. You taught us to be providers, Dad. But somewhere along the way, Amanda learned that provider meant doormat. You finally reminded her that those aren't the same thing. I nodded. Too late. Never too late to reclaim your dignity. I found a small apartment near the edge of town. 2 bedrooms. Nothing fancy, but clean, quiet mine. Cash offer. No mortgage. No strings. Moved in that weekend. I bought a recliner first, then a small dining table, a TV, some bookshelves. One by one, piece by piece, I rebuilt a space that felt like mine. My neighbors were mostly older folks. Widows, veterans, retirees. They respected silence. They knew pain, and they didn't ask dumb questions. It felt like peace. Real peace. One day, as I was putting together a small bookshelf, I found an old photo wedged between pages of Mary's cookbook. Amanda, age 7, hugging me after a soccer game. I stared at it for a while, then tucked it in a drawer. Some things hurt. Some things heal. Most do both. But the healing starts when you finally say enough. I was sanding down an old oak chair when the knock came. 3 soft taps. No urgency. No hositaschen. I opened the door and found a stranger. Mid-30s. Tall. Nervous eyes. Wore a faded college hoodie and held a paper cup of coffee in one hand, keys in the other. You Harold Bennett? I am. He offered a hand. Name's Tyler Griggs. I used to know Zach. My jaw tightened. He noticed. I'm not here to stir trouble. I've been thinking about this for a while. I didn't know if I should say anything. But after what happened, I figured you deserved to hear it. I stepped aside. Comein. We sat at the kitchen table. I poured us both coffee. He didn't touch his. He leaned forward, arms on the table. His voice low. Zach and I went to high school together. We were roommates for a few years after college. I was his best man, actually, before everything. I said nothing. He kept going. He used to talk about you a lot. Said your place was massive. Said Amanda was your only kid. That you were old school, not tech savvy. That someday all of it would be theirs. I didn't blink. Just stared at him. Tyler looked uncomfortable. I remember one night, we were drunk. He told me straight up, all I gotta do is outlive the old man. Amanda gets the house, and I get Amanda. It's a waiting game. I gripped the mug tight. My knuckles cracked. He laughed about it. Called you dead weight in a recliner. I told him that was messed up. We fought. Stopped talking for years. And now, I saw what happened on Facebook. Someone posted about the eviction. Couldn't believe it. Thought maybe it was finally time to say something. I nodded. Slowly. Why now? I asked. Because I've watched him destroy too many people. And he almost got away with this one. He stood. I'm sorry it took me this long. I walked him to the door. Before he left, he handed me something, a printed screenshot of a Facebook message from Zach to someone named Corey. The timestamp was 2 months after Mary died. She's gone. He's a wreck. Now's the time. Amanda's already pushing him to downsize. If we play this right, he'll sign the house over in 6 months. No way he lasts more than a year. I read it twice. Then I folded it and slid it into my drawer, right next to the photo of Amanda at 7. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room, lights off, thinking about all the moments I excused. The way Zach looked at me. The pressure Amanda started applying after Mary passed. The suggestion that I give them more space. The whisper that maybe I should move into assisted living. None of it had been spontaneous. None of it accidental. It had always been a plan. He waited for me to break, grieve, collapse. And when I didn't, he tried to push me. And when I still didn't, he tried to force me. But he failed, because I remembered one thing he never did, whose name was on the deed. 2 days later, Michael came to visit. I told him everything Tyler had said, showed him the message. His face turned red. He stood, pacing. I knew Zach was trash, but this. He clenched his fists. He targeted you. I nodded. Michael stopped pacing. You want me to talk to Amanda? No. She needs to know, Dad. She already knows, I said quietly. She just pretended not to. Later that week, I called my lawyer. I asked what would have happened if I had signed over the house. He was blunt. They'd own it. You'd have no legal recourse unless you could prove coercion or fraud. And with no witnesses, it would have been a long, ugly battle. And most likely, you'd lose. I thanked him, hung up. Then I sat there for a long time, because I realized something else. This whole time, I thought I was reacting, but I wasn't. I was surviving a heist, not just to my home, but to my legacy, my peace, my fatherhood. And the only reason it didn't succeed is because I finally said no. The next morning, I printed that Facebook message 10 times, folded each neatly, slid one into an envelope with Amanda's name on it, dropped it in the mailbox with no return address. I wasn't trying to get her back. I wasn't even looking for closure. I just wanted her to know the truth, in word from the man she married. Let her read what he really thought of me. Let her sit with it. Let her rot in it. That night, for the first time since moving, I turned on some old jazz records, poured a glass of whiskey, and sat on the balcony. The streetlights buzzed quietly. The air was still, and for the first time in months, I felt clean. Like I'd scrubbed years of silence off my skin. It took her 10 days to respond. A white envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Neat handwriting. Amanda's. I didn't open it right away. I sat on the table. made coffee, sat down. Then I opened it. Dad, I read the message. I don't know what to say. I didn't know he wrote that. I swear. But I can't leave him. Not now. Not with 2 kids. Not when we have nothing. I'm angry. At him. At you. At myself. But mostly I'm just tired. I wish things were different. I wish you hadn't pushed us out. But I get it. I still love you. I just don't know how to fix this. No apology. No real ownership. Just tired excuses dressed up as pain. I folded the letter once and put it away. Love without accountability is just sentiment. And I've had enough of sentiment. That same week, I bumped into Zach. It was bound to happen. Small city. I was walking into the hardware store. He was walking out. We both stopped. He looked like hell. Dark circles under his eyes. Shirt wrinkled. Cheap sneakers. No confidence in his walk anymore. That smugness gone. He stared at me like I was a ghost. You proud of yourself? He muttered. I kept walking. He turned. You destroyed your daughter's life. Hope your little one-man victory feels worth it. I stopped. Turned back. I didn't destroy anything, I said calmly. I just removed myself from the fire you set. If your life is in ashes now, it's because you poured the gasoline. He scoffed. You think this makes you some kind of hero? No, I said. It makes me free. And I walked past him without looking back. That night, Amanda called. Did you see Zach? Yes. Did he say anything? Nothing that matters. Silence. I think we're separating, she said. Voice low, fragile. I didn't answer. I'm not saying that to get you to forgive me, she continued. I'm just tired of pretending. He lied to me. For years. Still, I said nothing. Then she added, I know I hurt you, Dad. I let him control too much. I thought if I just kept peace, everything would be okay. I was wrong. This time I spoke. I don't need you to be perfect, Amanda. I just needed you to remember who I was. I know. Do you? She cried quietly. I miss you, she said. I closed my eyes. I miss who you used to be too. Then I hung up. 2 days later, I got a text from an unknown number. Grandpa, it's me. Josh, I got a new tablet. Mom, let me text you. I smiled. Tears welled instantly. 7 years old. Still remembers. Josh. I miss you, buddy. He sent a smiley face. Then a picture of his drawing. Stick figures. One tall with glasses, one little one with a baseball cap, and a house in the middle. That's you and me. When can I come see you? I paused. I didn't want to start a war with Amanda. But he deserved to know I was here. Anytime your mom says yes, I'll be waiting. That was enough for now. Michael visited that weekend. We grilled in the backyard of my apartment building. Neighbors joined. Someone brought a guitar. Michael raised a beer and made a quiet toast. To the man who reminded us all that it's never too late to draw a line. I laughed. I thought I was just kicking freeloaders out of my house. Same thing. Later that night, as we cleaned up, Michael asked me a question I wasn't expecting. If Amanda came back one day, not for help, but just to make peace, would you let her in? I thought about it. Really thought. I'd open the door, I said. But she'd have to knock. And this time, she'd have to bring respect with her. He nodded. That's fair. I've started a journal. Nothing fancy. Just a notebook with stories. Letters to Joshua. Lessons I never got to pass down the quiet way. Things I wish I'd known when I was his age. Things his parents won't tell him. Not out of spite. Out of legacy. Because even if I never see him again, I want him to know who his grandfather really was. Not the villain his father painted. Not the pushover who let it happen. But the man who stood up, even when it hurt. 3 weeks went by without a word from Amanda. Then, out of nowhere, a knock. I opened the door and froze. Joshua stood there, hair longer than before, holding a backpack. Nervous smile. Amanda behind him, eyes tired, arms crossed like a wall she wasn't sure she could keep up anymore. He wouldn't stop asking, she said softly. Said he wanted to spend a day with you. I figured. I owed you that. I didn't answer her. I knelt down, opened my arms. Josh ran into them. Grandpa. He whispered in my chest, like he was scared I might disappear if he said it too loud. Amanda shifted. I'll be back at 5. I nodded without looking at her. She turned and walked away. We made sandwiches. Watched cartoons. He showed me how his tablet worked. I pretended not to know. He beamed like a professor. We sat in the sun on the balcony. He asked questions. Real ones. Did you used to live with me? Yes. Why don't you anymore? I didn't lie. Because some adults make bad choices. And sometimes, when they do, you have to walk away. Even if it hurts. He thought about that. Nodded like he understood. Then he asked, Are you mad at mommy? I said. But I'm not anymore. Why? Because being angry too long turns you into someone you don't like. And I like who I am now. He didn't say anything, just leaned against my shoulder and stayed quiet. That moment, that silence, worth everything I lost. When Amanda came back, she stood at the door, hands in her pockets. She didn't speak right away. Josh hugged me tight. Can I come again? You bet. She looked at me. There was no fire in her eyes anymore. Just the kind of exhaustion that only truth can cause. Thank you, she said. Not a whisper. Not forced. Real. I nodded. That's all she got. That's all she earned. A week later, a letter arrived. From Amanda. Handwritten. 3 pages. She said she started therapy. Said she was seeing it all clearer now. The manipulation. The excuses. The way she tried to stay blind because admitting the truth meant admitting she helped cause it. She apologized. Not just for the past year, but for all of it. You were the one person who never gave up on me. And I gave up on you the moment he made it easier. I read the letter once. Then again. Then I folded it. Placed it next to the photo of her at 7 and the message from Zach. A little box of everything I survived. Josh started coming over once a week. Sometimes for lunch. Sometimes just to play board games or draw. He asked to see old photos. I showed him one of me and Mary standing in front of the house he was born in. That was your home. It was. For a long time. Why'd you leave it? I looked at him. Because sometimes to stay yourself, you have to leave places that don't love you back. He nodded. I want a house like that someday. You'll have one, I said. And you'll protect it better than I did. He smiled like he knew what I meant. Amanda called the night before my birthday. I'm not asking for an invitation, she said. Just wanted you to know I'm thinking of you. I know, I said. Josh told me. Pause. He really loves you, she added. I love him too. She didn't say anything after that. We just stayed on the line for a while. Quiet. Not broken. Not whole. But healing. That weekend, Michael and his family came over. We grilled, laughed, played cards. Neighbors stopped by. One brought lemon pie. Another brought whiskey. Near sunset, Josh ran into the yard yelling, Grandpa, look what I made. It was a wooden frame, rough around the edges, held together with glue and pure determination. Inside was a picture of me and him from our first visit after the fallout. I made it at school, he said proudly. It's for you. I held it like glass. Amanda stood at a distance, watching. She didn't interrupt, just smiled, almost sheepishly. For the first time in years, I nodded toward her. Come eat. Your family, too. She hesitated, then stepped forward. Not forgiven, not forgotten, but maybe, just maybe, earned that I turned 72 today. There's a chocolate cake on my table, half melted under the afternoon sun. Josh insisted it have sprinkles. The kind of sprinkles that fall everywhere, get in your shoes, and live in the carpet for months. Michael grilled burgers. Amanda made a salad. I pretended to like it. Everyone laughed. Even me. It's a small backyard. Half concrete, half patchy grass. But today, it feels like the center of the world. I sit in my plastic lawn chair, the one that creaks every time I lean back, and I look around. At the faces. At the peace. And I think, this is what family is supposed to feel like. Josh sits next to me with a notebook on his lap. Grandpa, he says, can I ask you something serious? Go ahead. He flips a page. There's a list titled, Things I Want to Understand. Number 3, why did you leave your old house? I take a deep breath. Not because I'm afraid of the question, but because I want to give the answer he deserves. I didn't leave it, kiddo. I took myself back. He furrows his brow. What do you mean? That house stopped feeling like home a long time ago, and the people in it forgot what respect means. Sometimes, to stay kind, you have to walk away from people who confuse your silence with weakness. He nods slowly, then adds, Is that why Mommy says you're brave? I smile. Maybe. He scribbles something in the notebook, then tears out a page. Hands it to me. It's a drawing. Stick figure. Big glasses. Standing in front of a tiny house with the words written in shaky handwriting. Harold's Place. Safe, strong home. I fold the paper gently, slide it into my shirt pocket, right over my heart. Amanda helps clean up. She doesn't talk much, not because she's avoiding me, but because there's nothing to force anymore. We're not pretending. We're rebuilding brick by brick. She hands me a photo album. I open it and see pages filled with moments I missed. Josh's first tooth, his first day at school, a crayon drawing of a house that looks suspiciously like my old one. I can't change what happened, she says. But I want you to know, I never stopped loving you. I just forgot how to show it. I nod. Thank you. That's all I say. Because sometimes thank you is enough. And sometimes I know is too much. That night, after they leave, I sit at my kitchen table and open the drawer. Inside are 3 things. A photo of Amanda at 7. A printed message from Zach. The plan to take everything. A drawing from Josh, freshly folded. 3 timelines. The child she used to be. The man he turned into. And the future that still has a chance. I light a candle for Mary. Let it flicker while I make tea. She'd be proud. Not because I kicked them out. Not because I won. But because I survived. Because I protected what we built. Because I didn't let it rot. Because I finally became the man she always believed I was. I started writing again. Not letters. Not journals. A book. A simple one. What I learned at 70. A guide to surviving family, fire, and forgetting yourself. It's not about revenge. It's not about bitterness. It's about boundaries. Because nobody teaches you that as a parent. Nobody tells you that love, without limits, becomes fuel for the wrong kind of people. Nobody tells you that your silence becomes permission. So I'm writing it all down. For the next generation. For Josh. For every father or mother out there being told they're too old, too tired, too useless, while someone else measures the walls they plan to inherit. Zach never reached out again. Last I heard, he moved out. Amanda doesn't say his name anymore. Josh doesn't ask about him. The silence around that man is thick and clean like disinfectant. It tells me everything I need to know. He lost. Not because I ruined his plan, but because I lived after it. He thought he could outweight me, outlive me, outmanipulate me. What he never expected was that I'd outlast the lie. These days, I wake up early. Not because I have to, just because I want to. I build furniture again. Sell it at the weekend market. I play chess with a neighbor named Hank who cheats when he thinks I'm not looking. I send Josh postcard with old jokes and new advice. I sit in silence without feeling alone. I breathe like I earned it, because I did. So here it is. If you're reading this, if you're where I was, in your own home, feeling like a guest, like a burden, like an afterthought, I'll tell you what nobody else will. You don't owe anyone your life just because you gave it to them once. Love is not a cage. Family is not an excuse. And kindness is not compliance. If they're draining you, using you, stepping over your body to reach a future they didn't earn, you don't need permission to walk away. You don't need to be the villain just because they can't survive without one. You are allowed to choose yourself. Even at 72, especially then, Harold Bennett. Father, grandfather, survivor, free.